Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, students. Welcome to the Guam Congress Building. As the Oversight Chair of Education, Finance, Taxation, and my Vice Chair, Senator Will Castro, and we have present also Senator Frank Agustin. The hearing was called to assist and affiliate or to assist the Charter School Council in conducting their hearings. And I know that many of you are probably wondering, is it being recorded? Yes, it is. You're live on TV, and everything being said today it's on TV. So everything is recorded, and at this point, our committee does not see that there's warrant for us to introduce any legislation until the council has decided and request for any assistance from our side. So I know that some of you parents and some of you teachers are actually thinking that we should get involved. I think we need to let the council do their part, and we will step in as needed. So rest assured that our concern in the Guam legislature is our children's education. Okay, so please don't think any less than that. Madam Chair, the floor is now yours.
First of all, thank you everyone, parents. I see a lot of parents and students for joining us for today's public hearing. Just so everybody is aware, the public hearing is part of the charter school application renewal process. The date was originally scheduled for May 16th, but because of some extenuating circumstances, we had to move it to today's date. We have a deadline to make a decision 30 days after the public hearing, and we will be keeping with the 30 days after the May 16th deadline. So the council does have a responsibility to make a decision on June 15th, on or before June 15th, 2018. The way we will do the public hearing is we'll start with the Board of Trustees first, and then we'll move on to everybody else who's listed for testimony. So if we could have the Board of Trustees please come forward. Also, if the council members can introduce themselves, I'm Amanda Bloss, and I am the council chairwoman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Buenos dias, half a day. It's late in the afternoon. Thank you, members of the Guam Legislature, member of the council, parents, children, faculty. Good morning, good afternoon. Today is maybe a predetermination of what will happen with the charter renewal. I just want to say that everything that was complied with as far as like the initial paperwork were done. But I want to call on everybody else's attention. I know we have given you a chronology of all the different paperwork, or shall we call milestone with the Guam Academy Charter School on doing the accreditation. That's basically what I want to zero in, Madam Chair, before I start on the other part of probably since absence the agenda. I just want to be able to just call everybody's attention to a date that was given to us by the accrediting body, WASAC. And I want to call on everybody's attention on the chrono of that was submitted to everybody, to the legislature and to the council, that it was June 29, 2017, that the WASAC notification of GAC standardization status was given to us. According to the section A2-1 of the WASAC policies, we have 3 years to continue our candidacy status. So I would say that anything that has bearing to do with accreditation to not be able to renew our charter has not at all going to be in sync with the timeline of the candidacy status. So the appeal process will certainly happen because the timeline is so off on the time that they will allow us to fulfill all the requirements on the candidacy status. It is very clear, and may I read if you won't mind. The candidate for accreditation, candidacy for accreditation is status of affiliation which indicates that an institution has achieved initial recognition and progressing toward, but does not assume accreditation. The candidate for accreditation classification is designed for institutions which are not yet ready for the full evaluation based on the ACS WASAC, which is our body that is accreditation body, criteria for accreditation. The institution must provide evidence of sound planning, provide evidence of resources to implement these plans, and appear to have the potential for attaining its goal within a reasonable time. A candidate school is required to submit an annual report and is expected to apply for full accreditation by the third year of candidacy. Candidacy status shall expire at the end of the 3 years, and by the end of 3 years, the school in candidacy status should conduct a full self-study or host of second one-day visit to determine if they should remain the candidacy accreditation, and so on and so forth. So it's a little premature as far as the final verdict of the WASAC to give us no renewal candidacy, because the timeline is a little too off. That's basically why I want to call the attention of this body and look into that as far as everything is concerned. We would like to start this program, Madam Chair, with several people that already have listed to be part of this testimony. Maybe we could start with our
Before we move forward to any testimonies, I do have a question about accreditation.
Go ahead.
The council did receive a letter from WAS dated May 1st, 2018, or a courtesy copy of a letter that was sent to Ms. Mary Moffness, principal, regarding the withholding of candidacy status. Could you please tell us more about that letter?
Well,
it's not listed in your timeline.
All the different reasons that were given as far as like withholding the candidate status, I think is very premature, because there are still a lot of activities or a lot of information that needs to be given to us, to GACs, that were never given. Case in point, the last visit did not tell us what they have found out on the last visit, and only to get this letter at the end. So there's just no input of where they failed, how they're going to be corrective actions as far as GACS is concerned. Not at all. The timeline are so off. That's all that I could say right now, Madam Chair. And I think the body could look into really how WASAC is really dealing with this timeline. I know the Department of Education would probably know every bit of timeline that is involved when it comes to accreditation. To just be able to just write out one write-up on most of it is facility. Everybody knows that is a temporary facility. The other things have been explained as to why the school was late in opening. There's so many citations each day by the same department of government department that is just one by one giving a citation every day by just the same department. There's so many of those that are already all documented. But I think the crux on this letter from the WASAC community is just really some of the planning issue. We have so much planning that we have done. Absence monies and funding. How can you execute your planning? Absence the funding. Refusal for us to be able to validate all different invoices that we have sent out. How can you execute your plan? Nobody can be on the right mind, execute their planning without money that is needed by the body. So, Madam Chair, I would probably defer anymore. I would ask that some of the questions be deferred. We would like to be able to get some of the testimony from members of the GACS family.
I do have a question about why the May 1st letter wasn't included in the accreditation timeline that was submitted to the council. I know that the full accreditation process timeline was submitted after May 1st, so I did not receive this from the school itself, and I don't believe any of the council members did as well. So is there a reason it wasn't included in the accreditation process timeline?
Which, I did not get your...
The May 1st letter, it wasn't included in the accreditation timeline that was provided to the council.
This was not provided to you?
No, we received it from WASC, and it was not included in the accreditation timeline.
Well, because I really don't know the timeline when this was received. I could ask probably Mrs. Moffness or one of the... I have to apologize, I was off island. But as far as the timeline is concerned, and this was not given to the council on time, I would be able to probably ask the rest of the trustees on GACS and maybe Dean Moffness to explain to us why it didn't get to you on time. Would that be okay?
And based on the letter, it says that Guahan Academy Charter School can submit an appeal based on the withdrawal.
Yes.
Where is the school planning to submit an appeal?
Yes. Our lawyers preparing for an appeal. Our meeting last Saturday is really zeroing into the appeal and the many deficiencies how WASA came about with.
When is the appeal anticipated of being submitted?
It's supposed to be ready by today, and I'm quite sure the council will be given copies, and the legislature as well will be given copies of the appeal process that we're taking through Attorney Philip Torres. Can we just... Can we just get the rest, if you don't mind? Ungan. Senior?
The way we'll do this is we'll have any Board of Trustee testimonies first, any administrator testimonies, and then we'll go in order based on sign-in sheet. So that's the way we'll do it for today.
I think they were first on the sign-in sheet. Madam Chair, I think most of these people were here before us, so in the order of priority that how they came in, I don't have the sheet that you have, so I'm quite sure it will be in the same order that probably were scheduled for these people. Some of them had to leave early because some of them are parents, so we would like to be able to yield the floor to them if you don't mind, Madam Chair. Okay, Senior?
We're going to have all the Board of Trustees first, so if there's any other Board of Trustees who have any testimony.
You can call me back later.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Babauta has a question as well.
Okay.
Madam Chair, my name is Sal Babauta, and I'm a member of the Charter School Council. Mr. Valles, thank you for your presentation. And I want to look at this accreditation from the perspective of the public law. Because if it wasn't for the public law, there won't be any charter schools in Guam.
Correct.
So we have to look at the accreditation process based on the public law. The public law clearly states that within 120 days, the charter school must submit or must start initiation to get accredited from an accreditation body, whether it's the Western Association of Schools and Colleges or the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, or whatever accreditation body is the school willing to pursue its accreditation with. But the law is clear that within 120 days, the school must begin the process of working towards its accreditation. The law further states that within 5 years, the school must be accredited. So that is clear with regards to the public law. And for those of you who are not too keen on accreditation, accreditation is a process where school is looked at with regards to its fulfillment of the standards of excellence with regards to academics. So when a school applies to become accredited, for example, with the Western Association of Colleges and Schools, the school is then indicating that, hey, we want to be accredited. We want to make sure that our students are enrolled in a school that fulfills the standards of excellence with regards to academics. So therefore, I believe that the introducers of this public law, when they started working on it, that accreditation is a very important part in the creation of charter schools in Guam. So therefore, Madam Chair and council members, I think it's imperative that when we look at the accreditation of Guam Academy Charter School, we need to look at the public law. Nobody is above the law. Nobody, no entity is above the law. President Nixon, even, historically speaking, was not above the law. So therefore, Madam Chair and council members and Board of Trustees of the Guam Academy Charter School, please make sure that we are mindful of the fact that the existence of the Guam Academy Charter School is based on the public law. So therefore, we have to ensure compliance, Madam Chair, with the public law. So my question to you, Chairwoman Ovalis, ma'am, is the fact that when the school existed, or when the school was granted a charter to become an academy charter school, what steps or procedures, what milestones were established since its inception to ensure that the accreditation process is fulfilled? And you know, I was appointed to this council just in October of 2017. And ever since I was a member of the council, I've always been asking, hey, what's the status of accreditation? As a matter of fact, in November 2017, we had a work session, and I asked about the status of accreditation. I stated as such that I want to see milestones established with dates to make sure that we're moving towards accreditation, because it's imperative that our students are accredited or are attending a school that's accredited. It's education, Madam Chair and council members. Education is the bridge to a better quality of life. Let's face it. So therefore, we need to make sure that the mandates of the law is fulfilled with regards to you know, accreditation, Madam Chair. Thank you.
We are within the same timeline, Council Member Bautista. December 11, 2013, we're able to submit our paperwork with the Western Association. And it got followed with so many communications. The timeline, although on the visits are not within our schedule, it's all on their schedule. So it kind of dragged for a long time. So I think everybody was given an accreditation timeline. And if we can just read through this, and I don't know if you have one, but we're willing to do this and give it to you. I would like to be able, if you, with your permission of the body, to yield this, the presentation of the rest of the of this hearing with the Dean of High School and the Dean of Elementary. Would you like to, can we just?
I believe the council would like to hear from who would be best to speak on the accreditation right now.
With the deans, right?
With who would be best to speak for accreditation.
Okay. Shall we call on Dean Cruz?
Okay.
You want to be able to call them?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll just sit here.
Okay. Dean Moffness.
Yes. Is she here? Yes. She here? Dean Mott. Terry? Dean Terry?
While we're waiting, I do have a question. Were parents given notice of the withholding of candidacy status? Were they aware?
Yes.
Parents were given notice.
Yes, those are all taken, I think, during PTO meetings. Madam Chair, I think our attorney Phil Torres is here. Would there be a need for him to speak on the appeal process?
We're talking about the accreditation, and you said that.
During our PTO meetings, we did mention to the parents about that. I'm trying to recall, because we do send home newsletters. I'm trying to recall. My AA is not here. She's my brain, my memory bank. If we did send in writing that our candidacy was withdrawn, because that's what it was. We did inform them when we received candidacy. They were informed, and we informed the parents that were there at the PTO meeting that it was withdrawn.
What does that mean to those who aren't familiar with the accreditation process?
When you start accreditation, you have to apply to become a candidate. Or if you want to receive accreditation, the first step is you apply. And then we did meet with the accreditation team, and they were informed about the possibility of moving the secondary campus. They were informed about that because we were told, I forgot the name of the process, but if there's a change in any of the application, any specific details that were changed, that they have to be informed. They were informed, but they don't, just like with this, there is a time period where they meet. They have a scheduled time. The committee meets. So when we met with them, I think it was in March or April, termination again. So they did come to visit. They met with the board as well as the deans. And they said they have to go back, because all the WAS team does is report to the committee, and then they are the ones that determine whether to approve or disapprove, or but so later on that summer, or just this past summer, we were told after the meeting that the candidacy would be withdrawn. And we did tell the parents at the PTO meeting.
So what's your next step for you as the principal and the staff and teachers? What now?
What I've been telling the parents, the staff, and the students is there are two things that will determine whether or not we can continue the following school year. I said the first thing is that we are applying for a renewal for our charter school to continue, the application, and it has to be approved by the council. The second thing is accreditation. But they seem to go hand in hand. And what it is I think Ms. Sanchez knows that it doesn't take, it takes more than just 5 years, because we were actually in operation for 4 years, to get full accreditation. The first step was we received candidacy. So if they had approved that, we already have our focus groups, and we would work as a team to fill out all the forms that are required by the team. And we can still, because in the letter where they said they were going to pull back the candidacy, they said that we can appeal. So we will go through that process. So the other thing that will determine whether or not we have a school next year is whether the council approves our application for renewal of our charter school.
Ms. Avalos mentioned that the appeal was supposed to be done today, but it's not done today. So when are we expecting that appeal to go in?
Oh, our lawyer is behind me somewhere. Attorney Torres. Is he out there? But if we want to extend, we will. We have the contact numbers and their email addresses, so that we can write to them. And so let me pass it on.
Just as a reminder, when you speak for the first time, please introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Philip Torres. I am counsel for GACS. You asked the question, when would we be filing the appeal? It was done today. Here's a copy.
I do have an issue that we keep getting these documents either the day of the public hearing, or we don't get them at all from the school. So that needs to change as well.
So let me continue on that same schedule of questions that I started. So now an appeal is lodged. What next?
It's governed by the WAC policy rules. And what WAC does is it'll appoint a 3-member panel who will then come and give their own review. They will again come to Guam. They will ask additional questions. The first and foremost is, do you have a renewal? And that determines everything. The entire accreditation policy and the way it works is intended to be a 6-year review. After 3 years, they take one level of review and then they continue with questions. But in this case, we're under statutory obligation to do so within 5 years. It simply doesn't fit the policy and the manner in which WAC does their accreditations. But that aside, it's on appeal, and the policy is their status, WAC status with regard to them, remains unchanged. So what they did was they denied the candidacy, or they withheld the candidacy. So that whole position is stayed for the time being during the appeal.
So what time frame are we talking about where they have to render a decision, WACs specifically?
When I reviewed all of the policy and rules and regulations, there is no time frame that they are held to. They simply state what the next step is, and then they will give us a time for when they will again make a visit. But I would guess, in the manner in which things have been conducted over the last 6 months, that's probably that same time frame.
So at least 6 months, maybe a year to get through this process, just the appeal process. And that is in terms of candidacy, and for the moment you have candidacy right now?
Yes, we do.
Because you're under appeal?
Correct.
Okay. So we go through a year. Obviously, we have to do. We have to make a renewal decision well before that time frame, like a month from now.
That's correct.
And so we won't have this issue of accreditation solved prior to. I don't see it happening. Not the way, as you said, it takes about 6 months just to get things going, and so it took a long time for them to visit. So
that's right.
Just to revisit, it should take a while. How does a council member decide on not just the issue of accreditation, but of renewal, if we don't have one of the main cornerstones of deciding a charter renewal is accreditation? How would you suggest we negotiate that issue? Because it's definitely a problem for us to figure out. I'm asking for a suggestion,
okay.
Not necessarily a solution, but.
If I may, the 5-year accreditation that's within the charter school law is put in there by the legislature. Your job is to do the renewal, but part of that renewal is that we are in compliance with all laws and regulations. That is an impossibility in this regard because of the appeal. So I would suggest to the commission that you make your decision on renewal or any other status based upon whatever criteria you're going to use, but not that criteria. And just and point that and state that in whatever decision you make. Because clearly if criteria accreditation becomes a criteria that you are mandated to act on, well, there is no issue here. But that's what the appellate process is for. The appellate process to give anybody a fair opportunity to have an independent review. And I think you should respect that process.
Just to be clear, any criteria that the council will be using for the renewal of application comes directly from the law. That's the criteria. The accreditation is part of the criteria. We understand your comment on that, but I just want to make sure it's clear that all the criteria for the renewal comes from the law itself.
I mean, it's not the only criteria, but it is one of the major cornerstones for us to decide is accreditation. That there are other, there's a list within the law, but I'm just trying to figure out how we, because we have to find an alternative to make certain decisions on the renewal.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to end the discussion for the accreditation. I know there's a number of parents and students who are here to testify. We will schedule a work session again with the Board of Trustees and with the school to discuss more of the accreditation as well. We do want a digital copy of this letter. Okay, so this, once again, any accreditation documents should be coming in. It shouldn't be walking in just when the public hearing is happening. That doesn't work for the council, okay? So we'll move on with the accreditation and we'll go on with those who have oral testimony.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we had a board meeting on Saturday, and the decision to have the appeal was just Saturday. And there's no way it can reach you like first thing today. So we made sure that the lawyer prepare all the right appeal language that needs to happen. So we apologize for you getting it just now, but we just the board just voted on the appeal process last Saturday.
I just don't want it to be a habit where we find the information, where I get the information from WASC when we should be getting it from the charter school, or I get information from media, or I have media questions before I even talk to the school.
Fair.
Ms. Abbas, I know you know that I always talk to the school first.
Yes.
And so in order to keep that communication open, that means that you have to provide us with the documents as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Dean Cruz, if you can stay, I see your name under the oral testimony. And I'll go ahead and read your names. I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. Do I have a Slint Darrell Lujan for oral testimony? If you could join us at the front. Slint Darrell Lujan and Dominic Leon Guerrero.
Madam Chair, they were here a few minutes ago.
Okay, well, we'll move on. Also, Dr. Velma Sablan.
I will read Dr. Velma Sablan's testimony.
Okay. Okay. Since Mr. Lujan and Mr. Leon Guerrero aren't here, we'll go ahead and start with Dean Cruz, who will also be reading testimony on behalf of Dr. Velma Sablan. So please just introduce yourself again for the record.
Senor Lujan. Oh, he's right here.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll go ahead and go in order of sign-up. So we'll start with Senor Lujan. Okay. And once again, before you do provide your testimony, please introduce yourself for the record. Okay.
Buenas todos. Ina anmus di Senor Lujan, esun tumores at historian Guahan.
Hafidi Guahosi, Dominic Leangro, Immersion Chamorro, he's at Guahan Academy Charter School.
Dispensa hamlo para ikinemprendi i famaguan tan I para I respeto na banda manonogi famaguan hum pago ni para o matsogi I inifresis ni fanogi tomorrow para I respeto na banda.
As a testimony, I've never done this before. I'm pretty nervous. This is my first year teaching at Guahan Academy Charter School, and I personally feel that I see a difference in the students, their attitudes, and I feel that if we continue the way we are, there is a possibility of us being shut down, and I really don't want that. I hear every day from students, Senora, are we gonna see you next year? Are we gonna see you next year? Are you gonna be our tomorrow teacher? And as a teacher, I'm unsure of that. I feel, and I'm pretty sure some of my colleagues feel, that we are sitting ducks in a pond with the board that oversees us, and we don't really get the information we should have, pretty much. And me personally, I feel that we shouldn't have this sitting game of, we're gonna have a school next year, or We should have that constant connection with our faculty and our staff.
Before we go to Dean Cruz, I do want to let everybody know that if you did sign in on the sign-in sheet with your email, I will be adding you to the council's email distribution list. I understand concerns about communication, so if there's any information that the council has, it goes out through that mailing list, so you will be added. Okay.
Once again, just for the respect, because we do teach our kids cultural values at their school, so can you please kindly allow them to do what they're here to do by standing for the pledge and the blessings, the inifresi and the Fanogitsumura. Okay. Inifresi.
Thank you, Senor Lujan and Senor Guerrero. We'll go ahead and move on with Dean Terry Cruz.
Buenas Zanhofa. My name is Teresita Cruz, and I am the Dean of Secondary Education at Guahan Academy Charter School. I am here to seek your support for the charter renewal. I have been with GACS, and GACS is just the acronym for Guahan Academy Charter School. I have been with GACS since the beginning of 2015. I am privileged and honored to present before you the students, parents, and staff who are present here this evening. I want to also say that I'm very humbled to see such awesome support for GACS. There were some who had originally said they'll be here. However, because of the rescheduled date, they're not able to make it tonight due to prior commitments. I ask you to join me, please, in an applause for all of us gathered here. Thank you. Some of the students in secondary have been here longer than I have. Some have about the same time I have, and some less time. Regardless of how long we've been together, I feel like we are a family in GACS. We are all looking out for each other. 2 years ago, we graduated 2 students. Last year, there were 10 graduates. This year, 31 students will be completing their courses of study and will be graduating on June 22nd. The other students, most especially those in the high school, are hoping to graduate from Guahan Academy Charter School in the proceeding years. Some students, after reading or hearing the news that this may be GACS last year, have approached me worriedly and asked, Mrs. Cruz, is the school going to be closed? So I asked them, do you want to continue attending GACS? The response is, yes, ma'am. Their next question is, what should we do? Who can we talk to? They were anxious to speak out and rebut, but I said, just wait until our public hearing. That's the time to be heard. I then reminded them of the values the school always impressed on them: to be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. So here we are. This is the opportunity we've all been anxiously waiting for. A survey for the next academic year of returning and non-returning students were sent out last month. Of the returned 658 surveys, 587 said they're returning, and that's about 89 to 90%. 89 to 90% of the students. 31 are graduating this year. 102 said they are not returning. The remaining number are the no response. The numbers indicating they're returning is indicative that the parents continue to have confidence in us in keeping their children safe while teaching them. The staff have also been surveyed. Of the 87 overall staff, 62 are returning, 18 didn't respond, 5 indicated they're not returning. I want to thank you for providing us this opportunity to voice ourselves, most especially of the voices of the students and parents. But I also urge you to listen with your heart, corazón mo, and put yourselves in their situations. There's been too much unwarranted and negative publicity about GACS, but the majority still want the school to continue. Right, majority? I apologize, there was supposed to be a recorded testimony by Dr. Velma Sablan, but due to some technical difficulties, I will be reading her testimony. So boys and girls, especially the younger ones, please just be patient with me, okay? Okay, so testimony in support of the charter renewal for Guahan Academy School. Chairperson Amanda Blas, and members of the Charter School Council. I'm reading this for Dr. Sablan, and Dr. Sablan, if I may, she's introduced herself here, so. I am Dr. Velma Sablan, a tenured full professor at the University of Guam and the independent evaluator for the Guahan Academy Charter School since November 23, 2015. I am writing this testimony in support of the charter renewal for GACS. This testimony is being submitted in both written and videotape format. However, that didn't happen. This written format contains more details than the videotape version. It was intended to be done in person on May 16, 2018 during the Charter School Council public hearing. However, the hearing was rescheduled to May 21, 2018, and I will be off island. I have been the independent evaluator for GACS for 4 years and was first contracted to analyze test scores from the 2014-2015 administration of both the district-wide assessment SAT-10 as well as the alternative assessments given to students enrolled in GACS at the end of each academic year. I have now written 6 major reports for GACS, and have followed every single student assessed between 2014 to 2015. So I speak from a deeply knowledgeable perspective as I write this testimony. I will provide 10 major reasons why the request for charter renewal should be supported. 1, GACS students are making significant, measurable academic progress. The final assessment report for academic year 2017-2018 will be provided to the Charter Council. However, allow me to briefly point out the performance of 3 specific grades. The first grade, which is second grade. By the end of the 2016-2017 academic year, among the 95 students enrolled in second grade, 42% demonstrated math computation skills between 3rd to 4th grade level. 44% could spell words between the 3rd to 9th grade level. Reading comprehension skills were between the 3rd to 6th grade level for 34% of second grade, with 42% demonstrating word reading skills between the 3rd to 8th grade level. And the next specific grade is 3rd grade. Of the 82 3rd grade students, 67% were spelling words between the 4th grade to 9th grade level. (61% were reading words between the 4th to 10th grade level. (87% demonstrated math computation skills at the 3rd to 4th grade level. Reading comprehension showed 72% between the 3rd to 7th grade level. Now 7th grade. By the end of 7th grade, 15% of GAC students showed math computation skills up to the 10th to 12th grade level. Forty percent had spelling skills up to the 12th grade level, and 29% had reading comprehension skills between the 8th to the 11th grade level. (40% showed word reading skills between the 10th to 12th grade level. On the ACT Aspire test, 29% were at the national average, with 12 students exceeding the national average in English. In reading, 40% were at the national average, with 10 students above the national average. Okay. So her second point, parents' right of choice in education must be respected. GACS has been praised and crucified in the local media from the very beginning of GACS establishment. There have been issues in regards to release of funds, use of funds, accreditation, facilities, building evictions, delays in building authorization, payless paydays, charges of fiscal mismanagement, late school start dates, over-enrollment, vendors not being paid, opening of a pre-kindergarten level, and criticisms go on. What has remained constant are the parents who continue to maintain the enrollment of their students in GACS. There is a reason why enrollment has increased beyond expected levels by the 4th year of its operation, and that reason is parents want a choice in sending their children to a school they feel is safe, accepting, and successful. GACS does not go out and recruit students to enroll in GACS. It is parents who come to GACS and want their children enrolled. On September 15, 2017, GACS parents made the news regarding the delayed opening of the school. What is interesting about this is parents had the choice to withdraw their students and enroll them in their district schools. In fact, some did, but many did not. Again, they made the choice to keep their children in GACs, and this choice must be respected by all levels of government. Three, with limited funding, GACs has made significant student outcomes. Like the majority of schools, whether charter or public schools, there is always a need for more funding. Although GACs has encountered challenges in this area, they have accomplished a lot with what little has been released, particularly in academic achievement of all students. Every year, the Board of Trustees and the GACs administrators and teachers ensure that both district-wide and GACs alternate assessments are administered to monitor measurable progress. They maintain the academic pulse of students through these assessments. GACs does not rely solely on district-wide assessments, but has used an alternate assessment battery to monitor the development of basic skills of students since it was first established. 4, GACs is a successful school where it really counts. When a school is showing success in the academic achievement of students, it is logical to continue what is working for students. If GACs had been a public school during the No Child Left Behind era, it would have been held to the adequate yearly progress requirement. Adequate yearly progress is the measure by which schools, districts, and states are held accountable for student performance under Title I of the NCLB, the current version of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Adequate yearly progress is used to determine if schools are successfully educating their students to keep good schools open and thriving. GACs is such a school, successfully educating a diversity of Guam students. Five, GACs uses a well-researched approach to teaching and learning. GACs is using a literacy program called Direct Instruction, which is capital D, capital I. Since it first started, the DI approach is well-researched in the academic professional literature. Ensuring fidelity to the direct instruction approach is a key variable to this success. GACs is very sensitive to this need for fidelity and are already observing success among students from various backgrounds in developing academic skills through the daily monitoring of the direct instruction approach. I urge everyone to review the information on the direct instruction on these websites. And so if I may just reserve this area here, and you can get the websites from me later. 6, the school climate at GACs supports diversity. Despite all the criticism of poor facilities, curtains between classrooms, limited space, and all the other issues that the local media has reported, the school climate at GACs is positive and supports diversity. There are students from a wide range of backgrounds enrolled in the school. On my way to meetings with the Board of Trustees, I've observed on many occasions happy children. I've seen Board of Trustee members talking with students and school children, recognizing not only teachers and administrators, but all who work with and for the school. It is simply a pleasant place to learn in an environment that is accepting of all ethnicities, language backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, and all levels of socioeconomic status. 7, GACs has a responsive and caring Board of Trustees. The members of the Board of Trustees are a group of exceedingly dedicated individuals. They meet often to solve problems and deal with an insurmountable amount of pressure, being the very first charter school in Guam. Unlike any school in Guam, GACs is always in the public eye, and they must deal with the camp that supports charter schools and the camp that does not. They must deal with both the critics and the supporters, but in my opinion, they sincerely believe they can lead to make a difference for children in Guam. This is their driving force. They don't use the public attention to GACs to promote rhetoric or pontificate their own political or personal agendas. They are just people who know that a choice in education is important. Marion Downs, a professor who pioneered the notion that newborn babies who have hearing loss could be detected in the first months of life so that early intervention could be implemented and make a difference by the time the child reaches kindergarten. Once again, you can always tell real pioneers by the number of arrows in their backs. Those arrows are all who do not believe charter schools can make a difference. The Board of Trustees are real pioneers who have forged on and keep working to make that difference. 8, GAGS continually works to improve the quality of teachers. A major criticism of GAGS is many teachers are not certified, and while this may be true for some teachers, all of them hold a degree or college training. However, GAGS provides professional training in the direct instruction and professional development opportunities for all teachers in the school to encourage teachers to continue pursuing certification. The Board of Trustees works with the GAGS administrators to identify those teachers who make progress with students and to use them as mentors for other teachers. This is not a new concept, but certainly a powerful one when encouraged by the school. 9, GAGS understands that assessment and instruction works hand in hand. From the very beginning of GAGS establishment, the continual process of an ongoing instruction and assessment has been a hallmark of its curriculum. The direct instruction approach requires continued monitoring of progress through daily assessments. The Board of Trustees has supported the dissemination of assessment results for both district-wide and alternative assessments to monitor all students enrolled. GAGS recognizes students not only within the school, but to the local media so the Guam community know that there is a lot of learning going on at GAGS. And the last one, which is number 10. GAGS is the innovation in education that Guam needs. I urge the Charter School Council to renew the GAGS charters, GAGS charter, because GAGS is the innovation in education that can make a difference for our students on Guam. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Velma A. Sablan, Professor of Education, University of Guam, Independent Evaluator for GAGS. In closing, thank you for this opportunity. But I would be remiss if I failed to express my sincerest gratitude to Senator Will Castro, who visited the school and spoke to some of the students earlier this month, and to Mr. Selva Bauta, who made his presence at the school a while back. Sizus Masi. I now present the students, parents, and faculty. They will each introduce themselves. But Madam Chair, what we did is we placed the presenters in groups. So because some of them had requested for time preferences, and also in the interest of time.
I'm going to go with the order that was signed in. I have groups for 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go with that order.
Okay.
And then we also will need a copy of your written testimony.
Okay.
The council has 4 sheets of testimonies. And in an effort to get through all of them in a timely fashion, we only have the public hearing room until 8:30. I ask that we hold our applause till after the testimonies. And Dean Cruz, if you could leave your testimony with us as well. Okay. Okay, you're just going to raise your hand if I call your name, okay? Amari. Okay. Bryce. Bryce. Okay. Aubrey. Jimmy? Shalene? Did I say your name right? Shireen. Okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and start with, we'll start on the right side. Go ahead and introduce yourself, okay? Can you tell us your name and your grade?
My name is Bryce Ibanez. I'm in 3rd grade.
Can you read your testimony for us?
Yes. I really want the school to I don't want the school to shut down. Miss Moffness is trying her best to keep the school open. I really appreciate Miss Moffness and her hard work because I know she wants the school to be still open. Miss Moffness is a great, supportive, and strong principal. The Gax family never gives up. Neither does my teacher. And always try your best.
Thank you, Bryce. Once again, we ask that you hold your applause till all of our students finish testifying with this round. And Bryce, can you give your testimony to Miss Eloise? Thank you.
Read it.
Can you introduce yourself and say what grade you are?
Hello, my name is Amari Jo LaBoston. I'm in the 3rd grade. I've been at Guahan Academy for 2 years and I already love it here. And I don't want it to end. This is an awesome school. I had learned everything a 3rd grader needed to know. And I still need to learn more. The teachers and staff here at Guahan Academy are the best. I'm only a 3rd grader, and I shouldn't have to worry about my school closing down.
Once again, we ask that you hold your applause until all of our students who are in front of us finish speaking. Okay, so once again, please hold your applause. We have 4 sheets worth of testimonials today. So let's let our students finish, and then you can provide applause after.
Hafa day, ladies and gentlemen. I will be telling you reasons why our school should stay open. Here are reasons why our school is worth saving. One reason is because the education. I love the teachers and staff here. I have learned a lot of things here. I learned how to read better and how to do paragraphs. Please give us the opportunity to leave our school, to let our school open. If I hadn't gone to this school, then I wouldn't be this smart. I will feel sad for everyone who works here because they will have to find another job, and that will be hard. We may not have much power, but please understand that we love our school very, very much. Thank you. My name is Aubrey Ibanez.
What grade are you?
And I am in 4th grade.
Halfway day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jimmy J. Manabusan Jr., and I am a 4th grader at Guahan Academy Charter School. Before GACS, I was attending Weddingale Elementary. Weddingale got me started on my education, and I was fortunate to have been taught by great teachers. Today, I and 3 younger siblings attend Guahan Academy, and it's been just as great of time as Weddingale. I have teachers who make sure I had breakfast every day and enjoyed their work teaching us. GACS, as you know, is still on its seedling stage. It has yet to grow to its full potential on providing our society's successful future graduates and leading generation. Every day, I see the staff working real hard to make sure we go home with something new to teach our parents about. Even our dean is always out in the hallways and visits our classrooms. Tonight, I'm respectfully asking for you all to look beyond what is past and look at what GACS can bring to our future. I'm looking forward to the possible extra curriculum that GACS may offer, such as clubs in tourism, NEHS, NJHS, and subjects related like drama, music, student body, peer mediation, and so on. Guahan staff show their love for their students and the work they bring every day. Please vote to keep Guahan Academy Charter School running so that one day we might just be sitting on your seats helping Guam be a better tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Hello, Guahan Charter School Council. My name is Shalane Mary Jean Smith. I'm a fourth grade student at Guahan Academy Charter School. I came to GACS because my parents were not happy with what was going on in my previous school. I was often bullied because of my weight. I felt that the teachers were not treating me fairly and didn't help to stop the bullying. I felt sad and mad, but mostly scared. At Guahan Academy, I made friends right away. They made me feel special. At GACS, I laughed with my friends and I had fun in and out of the classroom. The teachers treated me the same as my other classmates. I felt I was getting smarter because of the way the teachers were teaching me. I always feel like I am a part of a family in my class and in the whole school. I came to Guahan Academy Charter School to learn and to feel safe. I came because I wanted to find a better school. Please keep Guahan Academy Charter School open. Please save our students for all the students. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
My name is Era Sato. I am in 3rd grade. I know that Ms. Mofnis is a responsible principal. She works very hard for every situation. I don't want the school to shut down. The GACS family is supportive and we never give up. This school makes us learn about things we never learned before. I'm grateful for the school and the teachers who works here. Even though our school faces many challenges, we always get through it as a GACS family. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Once again, please hold your applause till everybody who is seated in front of us finishes their testimonials. We have a number of testimonials to go through today, and we do only have the public hearing room till 8:30. Okay. So, please make sure you introduce yourself and your title as well, okay?
Hi, my name is Jadine Molinos. I am a parent and I'm also a teacher's assistant at Guahan Academy. I'm speaking here on behalf of the parents, though, okay? Not my school. I love my school, but not that. As a parent, my children, they struggled in the school they were at before. So I'm not going to mention any names. I was told that they were doing well, and I found out otherwise. Like, my son can't spell. Sorry. Okay. And then my daughter, I didn't know she was being bullied, and nobody said anything to me. So Guahan has provided them with friends and teachers who care about them. And I would hate to see that go.
Hi, my name is Shireen Mantinogna. I play 2 roles here at the school. I am a parent and I am a 3rd grade teacher. First and foremost, I'm a parent. And like any parent in this room, in this world, you want your child to succeed. And I sit here and I look at all of you, and the decision to keep our school open lies in your hand. I read all of the stuff on the newspaper, and although they may seem bad, come, sit down in our classrooms. Look at the faces of the students who every day excel. Look at all of our data that we've collected in our classrooms and see how one person who is failing can be one of the smartest kids in that grade level. My daughter has struggled so far in school. When she came in, she was a kindergartner. We sent her through preschool. At some point, she couldn't remember her letters. By 2nd quarter in kindergarten, my child could read storybooks, who can identify what stop means on a stop sign or small words on billboards. That was my child, lived above all expectations I had. And then I saw all of these things happening. I saw curriculum at its best, curriculum at work. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to support this not just as a parent sitting on the sideline. I'm going to support this school and teach there. I want to be a part of all of this. I want to be a part of greatness in the making. And although we are just a new school, look at everyone. Look at everyone here. We're not just coming to you as a school. We're coming to you as Guahan Academy Charter School family, because that is who we are. And I can't speak here and change minds of people whose minds have already been made up. But you know what? Maybe I can convince you that we're worth saving, because we're wearing our colors. We're standing here strong as a family, and whatever happens today, they're going to take that with them in their educational paths. And as teachers, as students, as parents, I'm asking you to keep our school open for another 5 more years or longer. Don't let Amari have to worry about waiting to if her school is going to open up next year, or have to worry about it, or any of these students for that matter. They work hard. I know most of you. You are hardworking students. And we don't have bullying in our school. We don't have, look at the diversity here. For some reason, this jigsaw puzzle, we all fit in somewhere. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janessa Corpus, a mother of a freshman who is attending Guahan Academy Charter School. I was contemplating in coming before you today because I think I've already had enough media coverage, and to try to keep my identity away from the public and my children safe. I am here today in support of my son and all the children at Guahan Academy. I would just like to share something with you. Before Guahan Academy, my son was in the waiting list for 2 years. He was attending a public school down south. My son got assaulted, my son got terrorized, and my son got harassed. And I asked some of the kids there, and I asked the principal and the vice principal and the disciplinary principal, why my son? And the answer that I received was because your son is quiet and he's an easy target. The school he was going to was not even 2 minutes away from home. I would call and I would ask, please, can you just have my son call me? I would go there every single lunchtime, and I would sit with him to make sure that he does not get attacked. At one point in time, I reached out to PNC. I don't know why. It was never aired. I provided recordings. I provided emails. I've reached out to the acting superintendent. I've tried my best. At home, I look at my son, and I think to myself, with all that he is going through, what if I walk into his room one day to find him lifeless? When Guahan Academy called to say that they have the opening, with no hesitation, I jumped. With no hesitation, I called his previous school, and I demanded that his papers be ready that same day. I wasn't going to wait one whole business week. I demanded. When my son started at Guahan Academy, so can you imagine, less than 2 minutes from home versus 30 to, I'd say 40 minutes, depending on traffic. Not once have I worried about my son at Guahan Academy Charter School. My son, I know, is safe. They're a family. Our island, our children see in the news every single day just how divided everyone around the world is. I ask you to please, when you deliberate, please deliberate as a parent. Please think of our children. And please, let's unite. I think there's so many things going on where we have to practice what we preach day in and day out. I ask you to search deep within your soul and to make the right decision. Please do not leave our children homeless, because Guahan Academy Charter School is their second home. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eva Uggen, and I am a parent of 3 children at Guahan Academy Charter School and a graduate. In 2010, there was a law, Public Law 30-176, that created the foundation of the charter school model on Guam. And today, I ask you to wholly believe and support the initiatives as the committee and as educators. Please allow me to share my experiences with you with both GDOE, GACS, and the other charter school. Yes, I have experienced all 3 of them, including the private school setting. So Guahan Academy is definitively my choice in education. Throughout middle school, and I am a parent of children with special needs, with learning disabilities. And throughout middle school, my son struggled, even with documentation from a medical provider and many meetings with teachers, counselors, and administrators that were of no relief. In his 7th grade year, I was told that he would have to be failing to receive additional services. The request for a Section 504 plan was pretty much left to the wind. To add insult to injury, my son was assaulted while waiting for a bus pickup area by another student, where there was insufficient supervision. For months after the stabbing, they were not just dealing with emotional trauma, but a chronic infection as well. At Guahan Academy Charter School, my son was thriving. The kids there were engaged, and they were allowed to grow to their full potential as individuals. My 5th grader was working at a 7th grade level. He is now a freshman. My kindergartner is also doing well. The staff at GACS were sincere, enthusiastic educators that just want to see the kids succeed. And sure, they have their challenges, but who doesn't? GACS is a positive alternative to GDOE. And as you look around this forum, look beyond the statistics and look at them in their faces. And a lot of these kids, you hear GDOE say they're not from GDOE and they can be reabsorbed. These kids are from GDOE, but GDOE could not meet their needs as individuals. They could not meet their educational needs. They could not meet their safety needs. And Guahan Academy, everybody from the administrators all the way down to the assistants will be attentive to every single child, no matter how naughty they act. And yes, my kid is the naughty kid. Take a step back and look at the total picture. At GWHS, you have a problem with drugs and gangs. Simon Sanchez, the kids are the ones having to advocate for their safety. And up today, they still don't have a campus that is workable. Take away the bureaucracy, and you look at what they accomplished over a summer. They had a campus for their kids that was functional, regardless of the political challenges. At Southern High, you had a child die because of outright violence. JFK is so overcrowded, and FBLG kids are hiding out in the jungles to skip school. BMS, theft by a teacher's aide for funds that were raised by children. And a couple of years ago, there was an emergency contingency plan that had to be activated to deal with food poisoning at 5 schools because the vendor that doesn't even begin to touch the physical and sexual abuse that has come up in the recent past. Now tell me, what is it about GACS that you cannot work through to find resolution in comparison to these issues? Make no mistake, I commend those who have taken up the vocation of educating, developing, and molding the youth of Guam. My mother is an educator, and so is my godmother, and many aunts and good friends, all with GDOE. but do not turn a blind eye to the many inefficiencies and the threats to our children that exist in our school system. If you do not do oversight on all aspects of education that use government funds, then how will you find the truth? There is no perfect model that is going to work for every child. And you take away GACS, you take away that alternative choice for those children who don't fit that cookie cutter mold, who break that mold. When there is a recognized need for more schools, and you have a group like GACS that's desired to help that need step away from the politics and support them, you cite that every one of your decisions are defined by these laws. The reality of it is that Guahan Academy Charter School has been that charter school, and these administrators have been those administrators who are forging the path for the other schools. So of course, they're gonna have the harder fight. It's kind of like the older sibling and the younger sibling. The older sibling broke parents in, but the parents didn't figure it out until they went through those pains with the older sibling. I understand that there are concerns regarding bids, contracts, fiscal responsibility, and again, what GovGuam entity do you not have that issue with? The reality is, never before have so many contracts been held up in protest. I'm all for oversight, transparency, and accountability, but please, I beg that you work with GACS to resolve these current issues. 600 students, 700 students, and their parents, we're counting on you to be our leaders and to help them succeed. At the other charter school, I was dismissed by the principal, and I was told, sure, we'll promote your son because of social promotion. My eldest son, I had to fight for his life. And if it wasn't for the care and compassion of every one of these individuals, not only did my son finish his studies ahead of time, he graduated. He graduated. If I had sent him to a public school, he would have been lost in the system. And in fact, the system failed him. When I brought my kids back from the other charter school to Guahan Academy, they weren't even reading. My 4th grader was reading at a 1st grade level. He's now reading at grade level, and that was within 6 months of being back at Guahan. So if you wanted to talk about success, there's the success. You already had the stats from the UOG professor. Now look around you. There is a story about a parent in the 2nd year of Guahan Academy who had an autistic child, who her only goal for her son was to socialize with the people around him. He was reading within the 2nd year. Now tell me where you're going to find that service with GDOE. The reason why you don't hear about the other charter school in the news is because they lay low, of course. But have you been to their campus? There's no shelter. There's no safe place to play. They have 2 water fountains. At GACS, if a child doesn't have money to eat, guess what? They're still going to be fed. Where else are you going to find that kind of care and compassion? My children, if they forgot their money at the other charter school, guess what would have happened to them? If I didn't leave work, drive 45 minutes to the campus, they would have been left with no food. So from our hearts, we're asking you ask, how do you come to a negotiation point? You come to the negotiation point by looking at the law and saying, was the law realistic in the way it was written? And if not, if you can't get accreditation in 5 years, okay, so what is that realistic timeline? And let's amend the law. But give them an opportunity to succeed. Because in these lives, in my life, they have been successful. Please support Guahan Academy Charter School.
Okay, could I get Jordan Eustaquio? Tina Wasto, Veronica Garrido, JJ Kichicho, Peter Lizama, and Gina Murakami.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Estacio, and I'm an 11th grader at Guahan Academy. Honestly, speaking in front of an audience or having a crowd when I speak is not something I'm used to or I like doing. But I came here today because I believe that my school is worth saving. I believe that we deserve to stay open and not be closed. From the outside, we seem small, but I promise you we're one big family. My classmates are like my brothers and sisters to me. And honestly, when someone needs help, no one gets turned away, and that's what I love. Everyone gets the help they need. And I love that, and I appreciate that so much from our teachers and their staff. And honestly, it's a scary feeling not knowing if next year I'm going to be able to see my friends, like I said, my brothers and sisters. It sucks not knowing if we're going to be open. That's what I'm terrified of. I want us to stay open because we're a family, and you don't know what it's like unless you come to our school and you're a part of our family. And I believe so much, and I think that we deserve to stay open, because tearing us or closing us down would be like tearing apart a family, and honestly, I don't want that to happen. Thank you.
Hafa my name is Tina Wasitu, and I am a junior at Guahan Academy Charter School. One thing I can say about this school is that it has taught me things I thought I'd never achieve. For instance, math and language were the toughest subject for me. If it weren't for the teachers, I wouldn't have understood these subjects. Now I am improving in both language and math. This is the reason I want to graduate from GACS. My oldest brother has attended this school since it opened up. He got into a bit of mischief, but they gave him a second chance. He was a graduate of 2017, and at this moment, he is currently attending UOG and is working at the airport. Seeing what this school did to my brother, as well as me, is the main reason I don't want GACS to close down. I want to be able to look back at the beautiful memories I made in GACS with the staff, teachers, as well as students. I also want to be able to see my brother and sister graduate from GACS. Yes, you may think this school isn't worth saving, but to us, it's everything. We are a family here, and you can't find something like that anywhere else. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Peter M. Lizama. What I'm going to say is I don't have no doubts about this school. My kids are learning good. They're improving. When I was working for 4 years, on DOE, I see how they teach the students. I see how they react, the students react. So when I see my 8th grader boy, he was so behind with his work in school. So when I put him in charter school, man, he improved a lot. He shows me a lot. All my kids are going to charter school. So please, I support this charter school. I want it to be open again. Thank you.
Dispensa ko sa babay at taduk. Okay. Before I speak about what I came here to do, I know who you are, Ms. Blas. I know Mr. Babauta. I don't know who this beautiful young lady is. I know who Senator Castro is and Ms. Sanchez. So can you kindly tell me who you are?
My name is Francis Anki Togus.
Okay.
My name is Yuka Oguma.
Okay, thank you. Jusmasi. I will speak in more than one language, okay? What it is, the reason why I'm here is not only in support of GACS, but because my grandson is bilingual. He actually is trilingual. His mother is Japanese. His father is my son, Chamorro. And then he is actually multilingual. He has cousins who have other languages. So in our home, he is raised by grandma and grandpa who are so old that we have to wear our shades. I'm sorry, my eyes are in such bad shape, I have to wear my shades. It's a prescription. And if you want me to take it off, I'll do it. But anyway, my grandson has been to, in his short 10 years, has been to so many schools. He has been to Head Start at PC Lujan. He did well. Then he was whisked over to Japan because mommy wanted him. So he went to school in Japan, then came back because he convinced his mommy, I need my mama. That's this lady, this old lady here. He needed his mama. He came back, and then we sent him to a private school. And then from private school, he went back to a public school. Every single school, he was bullied. And why? He's bilingual, trilingual, multilingual. The teachers and the students couldn't even understand what he was saying. And sometimes he would come home crying because he was getting bullied. So finally I said to my son, there is a choice. We have a choice. My grandson already says, Grandma, you can teach me at home. And I said, no, even I can do it. Most of you know what my background is. We don't need to go into that. I can do it at home. I can teach children at home. I can probably even, I have been begged and begged to open my own school. I can do it. But I'm a grandma, and that's important to me right now. So then I said to my son, let's try GACS. He's in the 5th grade, and he's going to be promoted in a few weeks or few days. But when I put him into GACS, the first day, we picked him up, and we couldn't even contain him in the car. That night, I couldn't even get him to sleep until I wrapped him in the comforter and held him so he could fall asleep. And the reason is, he also was asking to attend STARS. He was happy, he's still happy there. I'm sorry he couldn't be here. He would have been here because he's sick today. But anyway, he is doing so well that he even told me, Grandma, there's still people in the school after 5:30. Do not pick me up until 5:31. And then I said, okay. So I was walking in at 5:30. He saw me. He shut the door. And he says, I told you already. You know how to tell time. 5:31. Okay? Seriously. And then I was wondering, like, you know, how are we going to manage this? Because guess what? He has an identical twin. He has an identical twin, and it's that same story. Mommy gets one, daddy gets one, but actually it's grandma. And so he says, Grandma, if the school has to close and I can't go to 6th grade in the charter school, and my daddy already said he's going to go back to a public school, what his major concern is, the students there know who Grandma is, know who we are, know who Grandpa is, know who he is already, and in that area where he's going to go to school. And the first thing he was worried about is he's going to be bullied because they're going to say to him, Dalai, you could not even go to a school that stayed open. Now you had to go back to a public school. That was his concern. So he came home and he says, Grandma, you can teach me. The issue is then he has no friends. When he started GACS, I'm almost done. When he started GACS, he had friends. He really had friends. And then he found out that the custodian did not leave until 6 o'clock. Said, Dalai, 5:31, now 6 o'clock? And he says, Grandma, guess what? I can tell time with a real clock, not digital. Imagine that. So I'm here on behalf of the children, the parents, and also grandparents. Grandparents, we know the school has been successful. We know the kids are loved and they are not, quote unquote, bullied. Thank you.
Just a second. I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry.
Veronica Garrido.
Thank you.
Biha.
Half a day, everyone. My name is Charles Agigi Hambley. I've been an instructor at the Guahan Academy Charter School since its inception back in 2013. And I am here today to support the renewal of the charter for the charter school. Why, you may ask? It can be summed up on what I say to each and every one of my students, which is, I believe in you. I believe in each one of them and in the potential that they have as individuals. And with the charter school, I've seen results from kindergarten students at the end of kindergarten being able to read at the 2nd grade level to when I started, which was a literacy academy for the high school, where all of the high school students were below grade level in language and math. And from that time, I've seen a majority of them have gone through the last year and graduated in the year before. 50% of the 8th graders who are now seniors were below in language and math. And now they are all caught up, and it's really great because we're going to have 31 graduates this year, and they are all at grade level. And I really think that's a great accomplishment. I think it's amazing that 8th graders, whom were below grade level at the time, are now seniors and are going to be graduating. I know we've had our share of difficulties and faults, and you know, I don't know the full extent of each one of those faults and difficulties, but I believe that the middle school and the high school should continue. And these are just some of the recommendations I personally would think, and I humbly ask that you take these into consideration. Number one, I think that we need to have a permanent facility in place for the middle school and high school. That's most imperative. And I think that that should happen at the very least 21 days prior to the opening of the next school year. That there should be a permanent facility in place with all licenses and certification done at that time. I also think that within the next school year, the 2018-2019 school year, that I understand we're under litigation, I guess, with the accreditation process, and if we need to apply again or reapply with a preliminary visit to happen during next school year. I think that the school, within the following school year, or by the end of the 2018-2019 school year, obtains candidacy status, that's imperative, that by the end of the 2018-2019 school year, there must be a positive review regarding accreditation. And lastly, I think an independent audit regarding all expenses must be done quarterly and submitted to you, to the board, as well as to the board, the charter school, the main charter school board, and our charter school board as well, simultaneously, so that there can be some checks and balances as far as what the expenses are, and to make sure that everything's on the up and up. And so I respectfully submit for your consideration these ideas. I know time's limited, so I just wanted to touch base overall on what I think are the necessary things that need to happen that would alleviate a lot of the concerns with the charter school. And I hope you believe in the charter school. I believe in my students, and I'm really proud of them. And I hope we'll be able to continue our mission. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, Madam Blas, and distinguished members of the panel, and also to Senator Castro, and also good evening to our Guahan Academy Charter family. And I'm here in support for our students, and I humbly ask you to say yes to giving us 5 more years, and say yes to our students, and say yes to the renewal. Thank you. Georgiana Rodriguez.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for having us all here. My name is Jenny Lou Kichichu, but you can call me J-Lo. If you don't know who J-Lo is, do your research. I'm playing. Anyway, so I wear different hats here. I'm a parent. I'm also an advocate for families and youth in our community. Let me talk a little bit about the mental health aspect in this all. Right now, education is important for our children, right? We shall not leave our children behind. Why I talk about mental health? The month of May is Mental Health Month. We have parents who are going through so many mental anguish, thinking, is my child still going to have a school to go to? Now we are leaving it behind. Our 822 starfish from Guahan Academy, okay? We're leaving that in their minds, thinking if their school is going to be open. Now let us really think about it. What does mental health mean? Can I ask each of you to just give me a brief of what does mental health mean to you? And I'll tell you why I talk about it. Ma'am?
I think for an effort of time, just because we do have, maybe you could just tell us what's your definition of mental health, and you can continue.
So mental health is about the brain, right? We don't take care of our emotions. We don't take care of our mental health. It leads to many things. Our youth, our children, their voice is very important. And I'm really glad that they're here to speak up and share their emotions. There are some that are not able to speak their emotions. Are we ready to see our children be referred to agencies because they're either having to go through that mental emotion they're not able to cope with, ready to go face GDOE because they don't have a school, Guahan Academy? Are we ready to see our children be bullied? We hear a lot from all the parents and teachers talk about bullying. We hear a lot about fitting in. My child, I'll speak on behalf of my child. My child is 6th grade.
I decided to put my child into Guahan Academy for many reasons. I knew he had a learning disability. If I'm here to advocate for children and families in the community, I'm here to advocate for my child too. My child has a learning disability. In order for him to be accommodated, I felt like Guahan Academy was going to accommodate my child. If I know that a certain school that he was going to be put into, which is a public school, if I knew that this school was a high number of referred clients to our agency because of certain reasons, I wouldn't want to put my child there. I wanted to save him his mental anguish and not having to say, I can't understand the language. I can't understand what they're teaching me, Mom. So that's why I chose Guahan Academy. Why it's very important to keep Guahan Academy open. Many reasons. Let us set aside all of our dramas, the politicians, all the politics behind us all. Let us set aside that. We are all parents. We have nieces and nephews if you're not parents. We're grandparents, right? I'm saying let's keep Guahan Academy going. They're striving to the best that they can. We have all the assessments that is all being set forth. They are excelling. Please be mindful. Keep Guahan Academy open. Let us save all the mental anguish that parents are already dealing with now. I'm a parent. I'm a grandparent and an advocate for a lot of families and youth out there. Thank you.
Mr. Charles. Can you put your testimony? It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I apologize.
No.
I wouldn't know what I'm going to submit.
Thank you. Dean Moffness, Shayla Kitchicho. Clarissa Lebasin. Tanel Mori. Hold on, I'm looking at the list because you're mentioning names that aren't signed in. Georgiana Rodriguez? That's who I... Okay. Okay. Okay, how about Kiana Cruz and Melody Cruz? We're going to go ahead and go into the last panel as well. I don't have a Kiani Sanchez. Okay, guys. Okay. Because we still have quite a few names to go through, we ask that everybody keep their testimonies to 3 to 5 minutes. And when you do say your testimony, please say your name first, okay? If you're a student, your name and grade. And we'll start from my far right. Okay.
Thank you very much. Buenas and half a day. My name is Tanel Mori, but all my students know me as Mr. T. I'm a parent at Guahan Academy Charter School, and I'm also a staff member. I am your discipline officer, your student support liaison. I've been with the school since the beginning. And even though I have 2 hats that I wear tonight, I'm going to speak from my heart. I love GACS. I love Guahan Academy. I love our starfish. And I know that many of the students may not be familiar with why we call ourselves the starfish. Many in my family and out in the public would laugh. What kind of mascot is that, a starfish? And in thinking of what to say tonight, I think it's important that I share with you why we call ourselves the starfish. And that's because there's a story that's behind our name. And the story goes a little like this, and I'm going to paraphrase, of course, so please bear with me. There was a storm that hit, let's say, our island, a really big one. And after the storm, right on the beach, there were thousands and thousands of starfish that were washed up on the shore. And a gentleman and a young daughter started walking on the beach. And so they were walking for 10 minutes. And every time the young girl would see a starfish, it would pick it up and throw it back into the ocean. Pick it up and throw it back into the ocean. After 30 minutes, the dad started noticing. And he didn't say anything, but he just kept going. After an hour, he finally asked, "Sweetie, what are you doing?" And the little girl goes, "I'm saving the starfish, Daddy." And the dad goes, "Yeah, but there's so many. It doesn't really matter." And the little girl says, "But Daddy, it mattered to the ones I threw back into the ocean." That's why we called ourselves the starfish. You've heard many, many testimonies tonight about the forgotten kids. I've been here since the beginning. I am now a parent. I have 2 girls that attend Guahan Academy, and I love it. As a parent, it mattered. As a staff, it matters. I'm one of those guys that stay back till 5:30, 6 o'clock. I don't get paid for it. I don't care. I do that because I love the kids. And even though I'm the discipline officer and everybody, all the students can tell you, I yell at them every day. But they know that it comes from a place of care. Just like a parent would yell at their child. I love our students. I love our parents. And despite the challenges, the bad media, and the free will to go choose another school, they chose to stick with Guahan Academy Charter School. And that is why I choose to stick with Guahan Academy Charter School. And I hope, I pray, and I ask you from the bottom of my heart, please choose to stick with Guahan Academy Charter School. Thank you. Tankaluna sa Diyos maasi. Ang kirisok jabut.
Once again, we ask that you hold your applause till after everybody who's on the table to speak speaks. Thank you.
Half a day and good morning. My name is Babiano Retsulelik, and I'm the school counselor for the secondary campus. But before I proceed with what I have to say, may I just please ask the panel to introduce themselves, because I wasn't here. I want to be aware of who I am speaking to. With all due respect, please.
Councilmember Yuka Oguma.
Councilmember Francis Anki Tovis.
And Eloise Sanchez, Department of Education.
Thank you very much. And so, I believe we are all here for just one purpose, and that purpose is to request that you let us proceed on with another charter renewal so that we can continue providing the great service that we still do amongst the students. And when I heard about this, I asked myself one question. What is the Charter Council's and the charter school role in this issue? Because as a counselor, our students come to me to seek help, to seek answers. And one of their main concern is, Mr. B, are we going to have a school next year? It has saddened me that these kids would have this doubt inside of themselves to even ask that questions. And here we are, the faculty, the staff, the board, and yourself. I would think that we would set that example for these children. Because really, that's our purpose in life, isn't it? Is to provide the best education. And if the education is crippled, then we are here to work together to provide that education a step forward so that it is no longer crippled, so that it can work. So my request to this council and to every single person in this building is for us to work together so that we can have a charter school next year and the year after that and so many years to come. We are here for our students, not for our personal interest or anything. We speak for the students and we show it in the way we carry ourselves every day, both at school and at home. I don't want to be someone who comes and speak here and fail my students, because that's the worst nightmare that I don't want to happen to me. And I bet all these people in this building have the same thing, is that they do not want to lose something good that can bring positive products, positive people into our future and into the future of Guam. And so as a person, as a professional, and as an advocate for both education and everything else good in our children's life, I humbly ask you to consider the presence of the parents and the students and everyone else who support this school, that we find our differences and find a common ground, and to find solutions, not problems, not conflicts, because we are advocates for positive solutions and we are the role models for these kids. And if we can't do that together, then nothing can cripple us in the future. Thank you.
Hafiday, my name is Rollin Sabna, and I am a graduating senior at Guam Academy. I have been a student at GAC since my freshman year. I didn't have a choice to go to public school because my nephew was already enrolled here. My family told me, go to charter so you can experience something new. So I didn't turn down that choice. Once I actually started my freshman year, I experienced so many different things about Guam. One being that most of the students got along with each other, but in most public schools, we see students in groups or crews every single day. At Guam, everyone is always together, talking to each other. We even get along with our staff, and that barely happens at public schools. That is one thing I love about this school. There is no such thing as don't talk to her, him, because she, he is this and that. No, it doesn't happen here at Guam because we all get along. Yes, we may dislike others, but at some point, we still talk to each other. During my middle school year, I always had to be in groups or crews to fit in. But when I came here, there wasn't any need to fit into any of those because everyone was like family. The other thing I like about this school is the program Edgenuity. It didn't happen my freshman and sophomore year, but I'm glad they let it happen my junior year, because Edgenuity is a big help. Well, at least that's what I think, because all we have to do is get into class and sign on to Edgenuity. There are less distractions, and we get to do our work on our own pace instead of doing as a whole class. We don't need to rush the lesson or be behind because some aren't able to catch up. But on Edgenuity, we have an online instructor that we listen to. Then we do our own work, which is good because no one is rushing us to finish our work or being bothered. With the ones who aren't able to catch up, they can always work at their own pace. Last but not least, I very much appreciate all the staff. They do so much for us students. They make sure that we are safe and respectful to one another. What I mean by that, our school barely have fights or huge riots because one little drama, our counselors get it under control. They always make sure that we don't feel unsafe. Our staff are the best. They don't just keep us safe, but they always keep us motivated. So I wish and pray you can at least listen to us, the ones who took our time to fight for our school, fight for our little siblings' future, and most importantly, fighting for our education, and give us a chance by keeping our school open. Our school may have bad sayings and all until you actually really step foot and stay at GACS. You'll realize it's just not a charter school, but another place where you can call home. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kiana Cruz, and I am currently a 10th grader attending Guam Academy Charter School. I, like many other students, have been here since the beginning. Yes, Gax. Yes, Gax has been on the news for different reasons. Yes, Gax has been on the news for different reasons, but don't let that cloud your judgment for all the good-hearted teachers and education-seeking students. Attending Gax has made me realize no matter how diverse we all are, we can all consider each other family. When I first came to Gax in middle school, I always thought I was missing out on things like sports, but ever since then I realized that sports and other stuff, it doesn't make up a middle school or a high school. It's the education and loving and motivating atmosphere around each and every student that encourages them to do their best in everything they do. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Melody Cruz from 7A, and I am a student at Guahan Academy. Despite all the faults at Guahan, I am still proud to be a student here for the past 2 years. Guahan Academy has faced multiple problems. We started school late because they wanted to be sure that we were be safe in the environment at our new campus. As a student here, I have heard lots of other students criticizing how the school works. My experience here has been great. Not only are the students supporting, but so are the teachers. My teachers have taught me a lot and inspired me to do my best. Our school isn't the most perfect school ever, but I am speaking from experience. We are not so bad. We have our flaws and our difficulties that we go through. I am just one voice talking to a bunch of people that I'm hoping are listening to what I have to say. Many want us to close and others want us to stay open. Please don't let the ones who want to shut us down win, because Guahan Academy Charter School students, faculty, and staff do in fact care whether we stay open. It will honestly suck if I don't have school to come back to next year. So please don't do it. Don't say no, because if you do, we are going to lose the family you created when you said yes 5 years ago.
Hafa day and good evening. My name is Kiani Sanchez from the 7A class, here to testify on behalf of my school, Guahan Academy. There has been a lot of negativity regarding my school. There are people wanting to shut us down because they don't think we can succeed. Everyone at Guahan, teachers, students, faculty, and staff, we are all one family with a strong bond. If my school gets shut down, that bond will be broken. Not only is our academic education excellent, but our teachers teach us how to be independent, good citizens, and leaders. I am here today as one voice being heard. Everyone has a voice, and today I'm asking you kindly to please keep my school open. I came from a private school, and I'm telling you from experience, Guahan Academy Charter School is the best school I've ever been to. People who want to shut us down are asking themselves the wrong questions. They are asking themselves about all the numbers they are losing. They should be asking themselves, why is Guahan Academy's numbers growing? If our numbers are growing, we must be doing something right. So I'm kindly asking you to keep our school open. Thank you.
Deacon Larry Claros, John Kinga, Rowena Zacharias, and Mr. or Mrs. Mendiola. Okay, Deacon Larry.
She's okay. I guess the others are not here.
Jenny Lou Kichicho. Janessa Corpus.
She's done. Yes. Yes. Because we took from the others, but some didn't show up.
And then they're meeting out in the morning.
can start. Yeah. Good evening, Guam Charter School Council members, and of course to Senator Will Castro. My name is Larry Claros. I am here on behalf of Guahan Academy Charter School. And just a little history of how I'm involved with the charter school is that in August of last year, someone approached me and says, I think you make a great addition to the school. And all because this person knows that I work with children, with students. You see, I work, not only am I'm a father, however, I'm also a deacon in the Catholic Church. So I deal with a lot of children with regards to ministry as well as religious education. So when I got into Guahan Academy, first of all, I was very much very happy that I was accepted to do a job called, or being an attendance officer. And I remember that first week when I got in that there was an orientation prior to the school opening for this school year. And I attended a workshop with Dr. Velma Sablan. And I was taken aback by the studies that she has made with regards to the students' improvements. I was really very much impressed. And with that, just being in the school, I just noticed that we're in where the campus is now for the elementary, but knowing that the secondary school is going to open just down the street, each day I'd visit this secondary campus. I'd drive in after our orientation, and what I looked at this building that used to be the Division of Motor Vehicles for the Department of Revenue and Taxation, but right behind it is this huge warehouse. And just some people talking to me about this huge warehouse was supposed to be 2 stories, all the materials already ordered, and it was going to house all our students into this one big building, 2 levels, having individual classrooms. And every day that I get out from this orientation workshops for that week, I'd always stop by and I'd envision that it's going to happen. Every month or every week that passes by since we've opened in the secondary school, I'd always look out to this big building and I always wonder, why isn't there any work happening? Of course, I'd be asking questions, and of course the result is that it all involves money. Now, my understanding after asking so many questions, okay, is that we put in our request for monies, and because it comes from GDOE, it goes through a process, and it seems like we're always asking for money that is supposedly already reserved for Guahan Academy Charter School. But of course, because of financial struggles in our government as a whole, of course, everyone's suffering. Nonetheless, this is why that school has not come to what it was planned for. And I sat back at the old building just wondering when was this going to happen. And just as a private citizen, just hearing everything from the media with regards to the negative attacks against the school, I'm just wondering, what is this all for? The bottom line is the students that we all are responsible for, us taxpayers. We pay these taxes so that we can educate all our children on this island. And yet we still play with regards to money. I know you heard this, but please bear with me. Many talks have been going around. And I've listened to the pros and the cons. I've listened to you when you come on the media. And I know you, from deep within your hearts, you want to go ahead and make things happen. But it doesn't look like that. My understanding of the Guam Charter School Council is that this entity exists to support all charter schools and future charter schools. But I don't see that. I don't hear it. But this is a time now that maybe, as Mr. Babiano was speaking earlier, that maybe we just need to clear the table and really now look, where is the concentration supposed to be at? And you can look around in this small group. This is just a small fraction of our students. I know there's many players in this, some wanting to close the school down. But is this group of people wanting to close the school down for other reasons other than for the benefit of our children? I pray that it is not. Number one, our children is the future for the society of this island. And throughout the world, wherever they move, it is the future for our children. They are the next leaders for our society. We need to give them that opportunity. We need to give our parents the opportunity in which they can choose where they want to send their children. You've heard from some parents the struggles they've been through, but they found success in Guahan Academy Charter School. All of this, and from the very beginning, the board followed everything from having things approved by the council, okay? And everything for increasing the numbers was approved by the council. It went to the legislature, and somehow it just fizzled there like Alka-Seltzer. But you know what? We acted because we wanted this is my judgment. How I see things is that we, the board, and everyone involved in Guahan Academy wanted this building to happen so that it would be conducive to the learning of our children. I know that some officials, like Senator Will Castro, visited the secondary campus, and if I was in his shoes, I'd be disappointed because of how it is. But that was temporary. It was a temporary setting until that elephant of a building was accomplished. But it didn't happen because we're playing around with money. And that's my judgment. That's the way I saw things. I understood the council's objective is to support the current charter schools, to make them succeed, and future charter schools that want to come in and give parents choices where they want to send their children. I'm asking you, make this happen. Guahan Academy has been in existence for 5 years. My goodness, if we're all business people, 5 years we'll probably be still struggling to even break even. But don't expect miracles in 5 years. We need more time. And you give us this opportunity. You watch this school excel. Excel that we will be the forefront for all future charter schools on this island. That you have the testimony of parents, you see the passion in some of the faculty as well as the staff members. I enjoy my work. I really enjoy my work. And just a little history with regards to being an attendance officer. I believe this is the first time they had one. All because the disciplinary officer handled also attendance, and he could not do everything. But you know what? We came in and we tried. Some we had to let go because some didn't want to show that they wanted to be there. But the majority of those falling down, we pick them up and put them right back in their seat and says, we believe in you and you can do it. And many of them continue today to go ahead and try and make a life for themselves, to complete, at least to get a high school diploma, because that's the bare minimum this island is asking for to be even employed in the government. A high school diploma. Just reading back in the news, our first year to graduate seniors, 2. This year, you heard, 31. I hope that when we continue every year of graduation, it will increase in numbers. We need to give the choices, or give our parents choices where we want to send our children. Some cannot probably afford private school. Some would go ahead and make the sacrifice of going out of district and going to a charter school, even if they have to drive another 30, 40 minutes. That is determination. because they want their children to succeed. Can we do this to help out a little by giving us another 5 years? I tell you, give us another 5 years, and to the Guam legislature, give us our budget in advance and not having to go to DOE and ask for monies every payday. You know, a lot of our staff members that receive and receive our checks late, we're looking around wondering, are we going to am I going to tolerate this again another day without a payday or delayed payday? But no, we stick because we care. The staff and the faculty of Guahan Academy cares. Otherwise, I think they would have just got up and left because there was no money in their account. But it's a big disappointment when the news goes out and says, you know what, Guahan Academy's payroll is late. And the public, I know where it's going to fall upon again, is the management of the school, where we look at you all, we look at how things are done, where we always got to go to GDOE and ask, when are you going to release our money? Nonetheless, I know that we can go ahead and wipe this table clean again and help us make Guahan Academy a successful charter school, but also for other charter schools. Things in the law needs to be changed, such as the budget. The budget needs to be changed. Give all charter schools their annual budget, what is due to them, and let us do what we need to do to make our schools successful. And not every 2 weeks going to have to go and beg for money. The bottom line, council members, is the success of our children. And thank God we have a free education system. We need to do something about it.
Madam Chair, can I make a comment with Mr. Clowers? I would like to just strongly emphasize that I appreciate everybody's inputs, because when we hear everybody's inputs and suggestions and comments, you know, hopefully in the end we'll be able to make good decisions. Yeah. But I just want to reflect on some of your statements. Be advised that the role of this council is to abide by the law. You know that the law is the guidelines from which the charter schools evolved. We don't create the laws. These folks up here create the laws. These folks up here in the legislature, in all honesty, I've only been a member of this council since October, but I've been conveying messages to folks within this legislature about the fact that these council members, or council, we don't have any resources. We're working with what you're seeing right now, in spite of the need for us to ensure that the law is adhered to. So please, and the other thing, let me just emphasize to you that I have a deep part in my heart that when working people work hard, they need to be compensated on time. And I've mentioned it on many occasions with GDOE and your board of trustees to follow up, to not wait until the last minute to find out whether the checks are being processed on time. I spent almost 21 years in the United States Air Force and have civilians work for me. And when they work, I make sure that they get paid on time. And that's how I see the Guam charter school staff, faculty, and the leadership. I want them to get paid on time. And I've mentioned this on many occasions to your leadership and to GDOE. So please, I just want you to clearly understand that this council doesn't hold back on making sure that the charter schools function effectively. We're here to support, and at least from what I see within this council, we're trying to do our best with that. But on the other hand, we have to abide by the law. So if you want to have the law amended as such, these are the guys that you need to speak with. And they've been hearing us. If government of Guam doesn't fund all the commissions and the boards like us, imagine how much money they can save and perhaps pump those monies into you folks. But look at us, we're nothing. We don't have any budget. We don't have any resources. That's something that you guys need to clearly understand. But you can look at me, and I can promise you that as long as I'm sitting on this council, my heart is with the students, the staff, and the faculty, and the leadership. So please, I just want you to clearly understand that we don't make the laws. We just abide by the laws. Thank you.
Forgive me, Council Member Babalta, if I appear to be attacking, and that's not my intention. I know the good senator up there hears this, and I see his head nodding in some areas, and it's unfortunate that only he is present and not more of our senators. We all do. We all do. Nonetheless, and here's another, just to rebut, working for the federal government is wonderful because they got the money. They got the money.
You follow the process.
Okay. Yeah, they got the bulk of the money, so they can do just about everything. Nonetheless, please forgive me if I appear too strong. At least in my intentions is to offend anyone. Okay. What I want to say is that we need to work together to make this school, to renew its charter for another 5 years. Expect, and I can tell you this because we have a wonderful board of trustees who are so dedicated, just like you know, they come in and they give all their time and effort to make this school succeed. Do they have a budget? The budget that they go ask for. But like you all, there's no operating funds for them either. Okay? Although some people would say we're having all this negative media coming in and so forth, how many times they have to repeat about a retreat that happened that cost $10,000? I'm sick of it. And most of us here is always looking at all the negativity that's in our society. Negative, negative, negative. But it's so unfortunate, that negativity sells in the media. But you already hear from our parents what they want. And I think we need to deliver for the sake, and the bottom line is for each student that deserves an education.
Buenas and hafade, guahu si Senora Emilia Mesa Bondo, gumagizu pagun na pupuengi, para ba hufanui imanyaina zani maestra siya, especialmente estudanti siya ne mangagi guni ne man presenti pagun na pupuengi, na hu supporti esti escola en Guahan Academy. For those of you who did not understand what I said, I'm here tonight, this evening, to show the parents. Okay. I'm here to show the parents, the students, faculty, and staff that I am here. And unfortunately, I'm standing right now, but I will stand. I will stand up for Guahan Academy any day, anytime. Okay. Now, finena na malago pa ba introduce zu taguni esti conversation taguni. Mama Tina zu esti maagang huagang hasu. I call my board hasu. Hasu means think. A, ajuda, help. S, sustain and embrace. Sadba, solve and save. Ohala, I am hoping that each one of you in here can think of our children, help our school and our children, sustain and embrace Guahan Academy and our children, our students. Save and help us solve the problems that we are facing today. Esti bula problema Gazeta. We face so many problems that we're always in the news. Gazeta. Tagwini hu atan esti. This is how I see it. Megay barangka gitalan. Lau pudi mampodong hit ko para tasedi para mahuto mi eskwalata. Ko magahit na tasasad bahit. There are many challenges we face on our road. But just because we fall, does that mean that closing the school is the answer to everything? I don't think so. ahi. Pues hagu gwana hulu senador, asigupa by Feisenhow. Si, Senor Joseph Agustin ha Paulo Gigaseta. According to Senator Joseph Augustine, he did put, the law is the law. Lo hamzu guana hulu y legislatura, sinya una menda ilai. Zaginin guahu, zani familiaku, gumagi zupaguna pupuengi, babay faisen hamzu. Hasu ifa maguanta. Kana torudu hamzugi legislatura. Almost each and every one of you who are senators, and I'm not playing politics, but I'm gonna lay it down. Each one of you up there said you are running to support the island of Guam and its people. And everyone in this place right now, we are the people of Guam. We are the people of Guam. And in order for you guys to help us and to show us that you are really for the people of Guam, I ask that you please amend the law. Azudaham amenda ilai. Sa zangin man agoti hit kanai mona, zata tonic mona iboti, sempre ha manai hit ni accreditation. Lo zangin para un sanda. If you're gonna push this situation to the side, pues komagahin na gagiha gisizamu put itautausia. So my question is, are you really on your seat? On that seat where the people put you because you want the island, you're here for the island and its people? Prove it. Put favor. Dispenses uteluhu na hagu agagi. I'm so sorry, Senator Will, that you're the only one that's here. Lo para torudu hamdu ni senador, put favor. Ekungukham, man uno hit, man tauta guahan ham, hami is kwalang guahan, hasu, think, azuda, help. Sustain, embrace, susteni, sadba, save, and help us solve our issues. Ohala mohon, I am hoping from the bottom of my heart that you will think about these kids in this room and the kids that are not present right now. You will be there to help not only the employees, but most especially our students, and sustain us, embrace us, give us 5 more years. And I will stand behind Guahan Academy, its school and principal administration. And I believe, hu hongi ginin I corazon hu esti. Na zangin un sat baham, if you save us, okay, if you save us and you help us find a solution, we will get accreditation. But only if you believe it with us. We all embrace each other. We are Guam, and we are Guahan Academy. Susosmas.
That concludes today's public hearing. We will still be accepting written testimony. That written testimony can be sent to Amanda, amanda.blas, B-L-A-S, @guam.gov. Oh. Okay. That does not conclude our public hearing then. Amelia Abondo? Angelo Manasato? Samantha Pilot? Michelle and Dina Marie Matanonia?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Samantha Paile. I'm a student at the secondary campus of Guahan Academy Charter School. I'm here to give my testimony on the reason why my school should stay open. When I first walked through the doors of GACS, I was terrified. Some people would say I look excited. Honestly, I wasn't. I had these expectations that I would fail classes, have mean teachers, and I wouldn't feel welcome. My expectations weren't true. I've been educated by wonderful teachers. I made some great friends along the way. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Every day I come to school, I had interacted with most of them. I've grown closer to almost everyone at GACS, who I never knew a thing about 9 months ago. Although it's my first year, I felt as if I knew my fellow starfish for eternity. The thought of not seeing them anymore, it would be devastating. We treat each other as family. Like, what school has cookies and cake as part of their lunch? The courses are clear. In my point of view as a student, this school is just about right. The idea of closing our school down is just wrong. Many of you either have a child or a grandson as a student at GACS. Think of the discouragement we will go through if we were to shut us down. Not only will you shut down a school, but you will have shown there is no hope for our education. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. I'm a sophomore and I wrote a poem. The title is Cry. Cry because of my memories, my experiences, my friends. My most cherished moments are at risk of loss. Cry because of helplessness, of powerlessness, and of anxiety. A confusing crossroad that I do not know how to convince them to let us continue, but that we are good enough. Cry because I am only a child and I have to face this heartbreaking news and unknown decision that might end my second home. Cry because all I can say is Biba Guahan Academy Charter School. Thank you.
Hafade. My name is Angelo Manansala and I am a sophomore attending Guahan Academy. I have been in this school ever since 2013 along with many other students as well. I've come here today to speak on behalf of my peers, faculty, and staff. One out of many questions I have been dwelling on for these past few months is, will there be a future for our middle school and high school next school year? This question encouraged and motivated me to speak up about why Guahan Academy's middle school and high school should remain open. Many students and I can truly call Guahan Academy home. Throughout the years, not only was there cherishable memories, but also life lessons. Some of you must be asking yourselves, why are these students fighting so hard to keep the school open? A few reasons why we are here today is because we believe we can be heard. This school has taught me to be myself because of all the diverse ethnicities here and to accept people for who they are. The teachers push us to work hard and help us better ourselves for the obstacles we may face in the future. And although we don't have much things material related, we were taught to be humble and grateful for what we were given. This school is filled with so much positivity. Everyone is very supportive of one another, and I cannot thank God enough for all the amazing people I've met attending this school, and it would be a shame if we discontinue and go our separate ways.
Buenas and Hafide, Guaho Sitina Menglotnya. I will be speaking on behalf of a parent, Dina Marie Mantanotnya. I will read her testimony to you. I am a teacher at Guahan Academy Charter School, and I am a middle school 8th grade teacher. Hafide, my eldest son has recently joined the Guahan Academy a month before school year 2016-2017, ended due to his current school struggle and his drive to want to attend school. Like most teenagers, they go through a friend phase, leave me alone phase, I don't care phase, and most of teenagers, to include myself, which is the mother, when I was a teenager, the depression phase. I saw my son start to lose interest in all the things. School, he played sports. He had a lot of friends calling. Then all of a sudden, they slowly decreased to the point of worry. Donovan Ray played rugby at Ukadu. He was a social butterfly, a true Instagram Snapchat, and a goofball. Then when he had to move to JFK because of our district, so late in the school year, there he began all the struggles. The increased doctor visits, the decreased school attendance. He had and currently battled with stage spondylitis. But I saw something more. I saw he was battling the teenage nightmare. Fitting in with his new peers, struggling to keep up with a new classroom strategy in almost all classes, different styles of teaching at JFK, he was struggling to keep up. But my son tried hard. Then it became, I don't care. I met with his counselor and teachers and the new school, but still wasn't giving him the drive to work for his classes because my entire family has children attending Guahan Academy, and my sister-in-law is a teacher there, and I asked her for help. And with that being said, the entire Guahan Academy staff has been wonderful. School year 2016-2017, Donovan Ray was enrolled 1 month before school ended, with optimism and fear of no progress. We took a chance, and that may have been the best decision I made for my son's education and success. He now has gone from failing grades to A's and B's and C's and a few D's. He loves going to school, making that dreaded commute to the T-Zen campus, starting at 6:15 a.m. to the bus stop, waiting at Paseo until 7:30 to be transported to school, and coming home at 4:15 every day. But he does it because whatever our Guahan Academy teachers and staff are doing, they got it right. Ask Ms. Tammy. She's actually one of the staff at our school. She knows our journey. And though each students learn differently, it's how the teachers understand and work with them that matters. And my son is going to be a graduate in the school year 2018-2019. It would sadden and put other struggles for my child to go through all over again because our school board wants to shut them down. I would say more, but I am currently at work. Should you need more info, feel free to call me. Or you may stop by for dinner after the meeting at Carmen's Cha-Cha-Cha. Thank you, Dina Marie Mantegna.
Okay, that concludes tonight's public hearing on the Guahan Academy Charter School application renewal. We will still be accepting written testimony. You can send that to Amanda, amanda.blas, B-L-A-S, @guam.gov. Once again, the deadline for decision for the council is June 15th, 2018, based on the current charter school law.